Branding definitely builds trust. People become familiar with it. They're gonna hear your voice, they're gonna hear your tone, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, this person is consistent across all platforms," and it really builds that trust. It also builds recognition. Like, you're looking along, you hear, "Hey, everybody. Oh, it's Lisa. I recognize that."
Welcome to the Other 99% podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Duck, a coffee loving direct sales enthusiast who's obsessed with a good digital system. Come join me for a realistic look into the world of direct sales. We'll explore inspiring perspectives, learn about unique business tips, and celebrate success stories that often go untold. Because on the other 99%, every seller matters. Hey everyone, it is me, Lisa, and welcome back to another episode of The Other 99%. I'm here with our co host, Susan Larimer, and today we're going to be talking about something that is both like near and dear to our hearts because we absolutely love talking about this, and it's branding. Now, I recently did a post on my social media and basically asked a question. Let's debate it. Like, is branding should we worry about branding or should we not worry about branding, especially as direct sellers, right? And I was very surprised at the responses. Most of them were very positive, saying, yeah, we need to stand out among the crowd and we need to be our own personal brand, which is what I agree with. And then I had one person say, um, no, I'm just doing my business. I don't really need to have a brand or anything like that. So I don't know if you've seen my response to that, Susan, but
I saw
no.
that comment, but I didn't see your response.
Yeah. So I basically said to her, I'm like, I totally get it. Like somebody who is building their business in person might not feel like they need to have a specific brand because like, they're not putting colors together. They're not putting fonts. They're just going to an event and setting up a table. But when you think about it, like you're building a brand based on your display. But that wasn't my response. My response was, it's like you might not think you're building a brand, but if people know you as the epicure lady or as the lemongrass lady, they're building your brand for you,
True.
right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of neat to think about.
And Lisa and I were talking beforehand, and she just gave a perfect example of her brand. Every time she comes on, she says, "Hey everyone, it is me, Lisa. Welcome to another episode." And we went through her reel she was just showing me on social media. Everyone starts with, "Hey everyone." So when you hear her voice saying, "Hey everyone," that's part of her brand. It's recognizable, it's familiar, and it's Lisa. And that's exactly what we're talking about today.
Yeah, I was giggling about that because I just accidentally realized, I'm flipping through my reels and I'm like, "Hey everyone, hey everyone, I'm like, "Oh, this is weird."
Which is a good point. Your brand should be you, your personality, not who you think you should be or who you want to be, but it should be you because that's what's going to come out naturally.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's jump in and start talking about sort of why does branding even matter? Like, why should we be thinking about this?
Yeah, branding definitely builds trust. People become familiar with it. They're gonna hear your voice, they're gonna hear your tone, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, this person is consistent across all platforms," and it really builds that trust. It also builds recognition. Like, you're looking along, you hear, "Hey, everybody! Oh, it's Lisa. I recognize that."
See, and you can't even do it because you said, "Hey everybody." It's like,
See,
"Hey everyone."
it's not me. Another thing it does is reduces decision fatigue so that every time you're creating a graphic or verbiage or writing a blog, you're not like all over the place. What color should I use? What font should I use? It makes it so is easy. Like these are the fonts I'm using, these are the colors, this is the tone. It is consistent across all graphics, website design, everything. And not that everything looks the same, but it matches, I guess you can say that. And it also makes showing up easier. You know exactly what font you're using, what colors. You're not starting from scratch every time you create something. So, why don't
Yeah.
you go through the what makes a brand what happens if you have an unclear brand?
Yeah. So, I mean, things like everything changes. Like there's everything's coming from a different direction. Like Susan was saying, if you don't have a clear brand, your images are going to be different every time you post one. There's going to be this font here, and then there's going to be that font here, and then this color here. So I absolutely love Canva for keeping me
Those
straight
brand
and in
kits.
line,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not gonna say that my brand hasn't evolved over time and my colors haven't changed, but it was very clear and concise when I changed it. You knew I was changing it. It wasn't just like a mistake, right? Um, if you don't have a clear brand, you're like basically overthinking everything. It takes you forever to decide on what to do. Whereas I can go in, I have, and I always refer to Canva because I feel like I'm in there almost all the time. And I could go into Canva to make a graphic and I could pull up the graphic and I have the same canvas that I'm working on. I just add a new page and it all looks the same. Like if I took my logo off of those images and I gave them to people with a couple different ones in it, they could pick which ones were mine, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think my brand is that recognizable. So, and
Do you
then,
think Go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say that you feel like you always feel stuck, right?
I
So,
think about a conversation we had with Megan Summerall, and she was talking about decision fatigue. And your brain can only make so many decisions in a day
mhm.
until you're like, I'm done. It doesn't think properly, you're unorganized. So it takes away that decision making process. So you're not adding to the decision fatigue.
So let's go on to knowing your person. And I think we've talked about this before. You might have heard us talking about your customer avatar or, your ideal customer. Because when we're selling to people, we have a certain customer that we have in mind, our ideal customer. And I remember telling someone that I was working with, she was doing a workshop or a kit or something like that for people in their 20s. And I looked at her and I said, "But is that your ideal customer base?" And she goes, "No, not really." And I'm then, "So why are you bothering?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We can't talk to everybody,
Right. Yeah.
right?
We always learned in lemongrass, my target audience isn't everyone who has skin.
Mhm.
That's too broad. I might target women in their 50s and 60s with maturing skin, anti-aging. And there's a good quote that I found, and it says, "Clarity improves when you picture one person, not a crowd." So when
Mhm.
you're creating your brand, think about one person, and everything that you create should be directed to that one person.
You need like when someone's scrolling your social media or when they're on your website or something like that and they're reading something that you've written, you don't want them to say, "Oh, that's a good tip for skincare." You want them to go, "Oh my god, Susan knows what I'm dealing with. She understands. I need to look at this further because Susan is talking to me."
Exactly.
Right?
Susan is talking directly to me. That's what you want.
Yeah, for sure.
So then another step is brand personality, and that
Mhm.
goes along with who you are. We all have different personalities, and your personality is going to come out in your brand. So a good activity is to think of 3 to 5 words that describe how your brand shows up or how your personality is. Are you calm? Are you friendly? Are you bubbly? Are you playful? Are you grounded? Are you trustworthy? So write down some words. And that might be helpful to ask other people. Like when you think of me and the messages I'm conveying, what words come to mind?
Yeah, I love using this in ChatGPT because, you know, give me this in my brand voice and ChatGPT knows my brand voice, right? But if I'm using maybe a free version or something because I'm on another tab, it's always like make this fun and educational or my favorite, make this clear. Like, I want to be super clear about what I'm saying. I don't want to try and confuse people, right? Because my brand is about reducing overwhelm. So I need to be super clear on everything.
Yeah. Or if you're in like a sciencey field, your brand and your voice will be your personality will be very technical. And it's
Hmm.
okay to use very big words and technical words and sciencey words because you are talking to other science-minded people.
Yeah. And you need to be careful when you're doing this because what you're saying is whether it's like talking to the camera or whether you have it written down, this is how people get to know, like, and trust you. So that is building the trust and the connection that you're making with that audience. So just make sure that you're you. You don't wanna be someone else. You don't wanna try and copy someone else just because you think that they're successful, and this was the number one reason why when I was building a team in direct sales, I always said, I'm like, you can use my content, but you have to copy it and paste it and tweak it to make it in your own voice, right? Because it's not gonna help you. Your customers are gonna read that and say, "She didn't write that.
Yeah. And that's
That's
the
not her."
danger in copying and pasting verbiage from your company too, because you're
Yeah,
just furthering their brand instead of standing out and maybe growing your own brand. If that's what you wanna
yeah.
do, fine, but if you wanna brand yourself, you need to use your own words.
Yeah, and let's just be clear on that. I love that you brought that up because if all you wanna do is post the company graphics and sell products and it's working for you, that's the key, it's working for you, you're making sales, keep doing it, don't change anything. But the majority of people don't get any responses, don't get any sales because they're just copying and pasting the company, like, jargon, right? It's just all out there and it's like, "Okay, well, that makes no sense." But sure, I'll just keep scrolling. I'm not gonna click and buy, or I'm not gonna stop and ask questions, so yeah, so let's talk a little bit about or dive a little bit deeper about, you know, that voice, like, how can you portray that voice so when you're talking to someone or writing for someone, how could you be clear? Like, are there any tips that you could give?
Yeah, I mean, just think about we all have a writing style. We all use certain words more often than others, especially if you're in Canada and US. Like, why are you using that word, Lisa? But it's from where you're from too. So
It's
think
like you
about
don't wanna wear a toque or something? Like, do you even know what a toque is? Not what do you guys call it? I
I
don't
don't
know.
even know.
It's like a winter hat. It's like what do you guys call it? A beanie or something? Like, it's a winter
Oh, maybe
hat.
like a wool hat or a
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
it's a toque.
See, I learned something new today.
I'll teach you. I'll teach you, Susan.
So if I were to write a blog about toques on my website, my customers would have no clue what I'm talking about. It would just not be relevant at all.
Yeah, and they would be like, "Susan, like, this who wrote this for you?"
Yeah,
Right? And it's like
exactly.
and because you don't really know, like, it's not something that you know, you can't be honest and clear,
Can't be
and
the
you
authority
c
on it.
no, no, so, I mean, make sure and this is why I always say it's like, I don't understand how people could just go and sell any brand they want,
Hmm,
right? I mean, when Epicure folded, I tried that. I tried to jump into different companies. Like, I did look into them. It's not like I jumped in without looking. And I'm like, okay, maybe I think I could represent this company. But when I didn't love every part of the product and the company, I was just lost. I had no interest in promoting it, right? I couldn't even take my uplines, graphics, and content and share it because I felt like a phony,
hmm, yeah,
right?
that's a red
So
flag. That's a red flag.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And think about your role too. Like, okay, my brand voice should sound like, do you want to be a trusted friend? Do you want to be a favorite teacher? Do you want to be that confident guide or something else? So I always
Mhm.
like to be like You know how when you I don't did you go I don't know if you went away to college. Like when I went away to college, this is before you could pick your roommate on Instagram, which is apparently what they do now. You didn't know who you were rooming with. So you found out, like, when you moved in together and just that feeling like, I wanna be this person's best friend, and I can't wait to get to know this person, and I'm gonna, put my best self forth. I'm not going to share, like, my dirty habits and roommate things that she's gonna get annoyed with, but you're so excited to meet this new friend and to go on this journey with them, and that's always how I approach, new projects or teaching people, like, "Let's hold hands, let's go." But if you're doing something more technical or sciencey, it might be like, "I'm the professor and you're the student, and I'm gonna be very clear and use words that you should know being in this field, and that's your leadership style. So think about your voice.
Mhm. Alright. Now the next part, I love looking at colors, right? It is the fun part. And I had people say to me, it's like, a brand is not about colors. And I beg to differ,
It kind of is.
because when we think about McDonald's, it's the
Mm,
golden arches,
yeah,
right?
yep.
You know, when even like when we think about the modern direct seller,
Pink.
it's the hot pink, right? That's who modern direct seller is. So there is a way for your color to build that brand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, John Deere tractors, green and yellow.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. So picking
Yeah.
colors, this is kind of the fun part, but know that different colors mean different things. They portray a certain feeling or attitude. So should we walk through different
Yeah,
colors?
I think that would be good. Let's pick a
Yeah.
few. Sure.
Okay. So red, that's your bold and powerful. You think about red. What are some brands that have a lot of red in them? Can you think of any?
I don't know, do you guys have Kentucky Fried Chicken? Like,
Yes.
they're red and white,
Yes.
even McDonald's has the red, like the golden arches, but it's got the red, and I'm just trying to think, like, going around Target,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
and that bright red ball right at the front.
yeah,
We only had Targets
bullseye.
for a little bit up here, but I remember walking in and there's, like, this big red ball out
Yeah.
front, so it's like,
You don't have Targets now?
I don't think so. I think
Really?
most of them closed, yeah.
Oh my
There
goodness.
might be one in, like, the odd location, but I don't know. I don't think so.
They're big here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yellow. Yellow, cheerful, optimistic, happy. Those are our yellow. Some people love yellow. Some people, if you are that bubbly, cheerful, optimistic person, you might want to consider yellow as part of your brand.
Mhm.
Lisa, I'll let you talk about blue.
Yeah, blue, I mean, it was funny when I was looking this, and I'm like, "Okay, well, blue is sort of my main color, and blue is calm and trustworthy," right? And thinking about, like, companies like Walmart, they wanna be trustworthy to you, right? They want you to come in and do your thing, and, I don't know, what other are blue?
Like
Can you
Blue
think of?
Cross Blue Shield,
Yeah,
America, or healthcare tends to be a lot of blue branding.
yeah, so and then, I mean, I see a lot of purple out there too, so we probably should talk, or touch on purple, and it's, like, creative and luxurious,
And you know
right?
who I think of when I see purple?
Who?
Evelyn.
Yes, yes, yes.
Royal color, and her whole brand is being royal.
And
So
it's so funny because I love the color purple, but I could never see, that like, I would never feel like that would be a good brand color for me, and that's like, it's
and
odd, and
that's
even same with
personality.
the red and yellow, like, I mean, I gravitate to blue for some
Yeah,
reason, and
yeah,
so it's kinda funny, but
yeah. I like the blues and the greens, and then green is, like, fresh, grounded, and I think, those are my beachy vibes too. I love those
mhm,
greens.
yeah.
And then white, the what is it? The Pantone color of the year? is like
Yeah, you
that
were saying,
off
yeah.
white. Yes, which a lot of people are like, "White? That's not a color," but it means clean, sincere, pure, refreshing. So that is definitely a personality. If you want that, you're gonna have a lot of white space because it feels clean. It allows you to breathe, all of those things.
See, I love that because I look at my site and I'm like, it's to me, my site and my site is just need to know my website is always being worked on in some way, right?
That's
and
typical.
and I love the coloring on my site, but then I also love that clean slate, but I have a hard time achieving that, right? Because
Yeah, why
I
is that? I
always want to
why
pull those colors in. Like
yeah,
I don't like the white space, but I do like it when I see it on other people's sites.
it
It's just
feels
weird.
good, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Color is fun, but you don't want too much color. You don't want a rainbow of colors all over everything because then the person who's seeing it, it's distracting, it's confusing, it's not what you want. So you only want to pick, maybe 2 or 3 colors and then some neutrals for
Mhm.
your overall brand. You don't want 5, 6 colors in there.
Yeah, that's just goes to directly to what we teach on Oh My High when you're picking your color palette, right? You want to keep the white, you want to keep the dark, like the base and the contrast, you want to keep them the same. Try not to change the neutral because you're always going to need a light gray somewhere, right? It's going to be like a shadow or something like that. Basically, you're playing with the action color and the accent color. So when you're thinking about a brand, two main colors is really all you need. And then you could have like a couple additional colors where it's going to be like a pop that's going to go in because I do have like on the odd thing, if I want to make it really stand out, I'll put my hot pink or something like that as I like, whoa,
An
what's this?
accent.
I gotta go see this. Like, what is
Yeah.
she talking about there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, or different shades of the same color is okay too, but stick to the same colors.
hmm. Hey everyone, just a quick pause to thank today's sponsor, CinchShare. CinchShare is a social media scheduler designed for direct sellers and creators alike. It's your go-to tool for planning, scheduling, and simplifying social media right from your phone. Built to take away the overwhelm, it lets you upload your own content, use a ready-to-share library, schedule across multiple platforms, or post on the go using the CinchShare keyboard. Want to learn more about CinchShare or grab a free 30-day trial? Visit lisadoc.com/CinchShare. Now back to the episode. Right. Let's talk a little bit about fonts because I see this many times. It's like the cursive fonts on websites are just they're so hard to read.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody sent me an email the other day actually, and it was written in cursive font, and I'm like, I can read cursive. I can write
Right.
cursive.
Right.
I had a hard time reading that email.
Yeah.
It took me forever. So think about it. Is your fonts clear that you're not stumbling people from getting your message?
Yeah.
Right?
That is the most important thing. Your font has to be easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
It also has to feel consistent with your brand and work across all platforms. So sometimes on a website, it might look really good because you've got a lot of space, but in a smaller graphic or on social media, does it still look very clear? So fonts, that's kind of fun, like with the colors. It's fun, kind of playing around with different fonts. But I found out that there's also certain font pairings that coordinate well with specific colors. So if we go back to the color red, that's that power color,
Mm-hmm.
authority. So you want fonts that aren't cutesy and fun. You want more
Mm-hmm.
serious fonts, like the Playfair display is a good one for the reds. The next one, Lisa and I don't know how to say, but it's the Montserrat, Montserrat, Montserrat for a header, and then maybe the open sans for the body, and then maybe an accent would be Abril fat face. Fat face.
I've never heard of that one, but I'll go check it out. I mean,
So you want maybe 4 fonts. So one for the title, one for the headers, one for the body, and then, like Lisa said, an accent font, which will probably be words in that accent color, that
Hmm.
pink that she talked about. You want it to stand out.
Yeah, I mean, we won't go through all of them because Susan actually has a branding kit available, and she talks you through all of the fonts and what they match with the colors and all of that stuff. So when the podcast airs, the link will be in the show notes. You could go take a look because it's full of all information. Some we touched on here, but it is just jam packed full of great information. So let's not give away too many of your secrets.
Yeah, and the guide that I'm creating, like, it is meant for you to, take your computer to a coffee shop, set aside an hour or 2, put your headphones in and listen to some, like, background music, but to really be thoughtful, and it guides you through step by step. It'll ask you questions to help you identify your brand, and then at the end, you will know very clearly what your brand is, what your personality is, who your person is, your colors, your fonts, and then that decision fatigue is gone forever. It just makes the rest of your content going forward so much easier, so much clearer, and then you stand out as that trustworthy person that people will recognize. They
Hmm.
know that, okay, this is who she is. Whatever she says, the beginning of her reels and podcasts and whatever, recognizable. So I put that all together in a great little guide. And then at the end, there's actually a resource like, here, print this out because this tells you your colors. You can write your hex codes on there. These are the fonts you're going to use. This is your personality. It puts it all on one page so that you can, keep that in your office or wherever you do your work so that when you are ready to create content, there it is. It's kind of like the brand kit in
Hmm.
Can.
Yeah. Well, before we go, I want you to give them one last little snippet that is going to be telling them basically why they need this for using their brand. Like, how are they going to use their brand?
Yeah. So, number one, we talk about it all the time, is your website. Having your own website will set you apart, and that is where you can really express yourself uniquely through your own brand. Your website is your own. We love Oh My High. We talk about it all the time. In when you set up Oh My High, you actually set up, what is it called?
Your color palette, basically.
Color
Yeah.
palette, your
Your
font,
styles.
heading,
Yeah.
style. Yes, you set it all up so that when you start blogging or writing or you're changing part of your website, once you put a title on there, it automatically pops up as your font. So biggest thing I think is your website. But like I said before, it goes across social media, how you show up, texting, email
Mm-hmm.
marketing, all of that will be in your brand.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, we're not going to give people too much because we want them to go and check out your branding kit. And it will be available in her shop on Oh My High because she could sell her products on Oh My High, which I absolutely love. That's another reason why we love Oh My High. But everyone, we really, really do appreciate you guys joining us every week. And we'd love to hear from you. We have a new social presence. We have the other 99% on Facebook and Instagram. And we're even on Threads. I don't know if you know that, Susan, but we're on Threads. I just linked the accounts. I mean, I think there's like one or two posts, but yeah, we're over there.
So
We're
we're just
trying.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
figuring out threads.
Yeah. We're really trying, and we're on YouTube, of course, but come and see us on those platforms. Come and say hi. Come and like and follow. We want to build the interaction. Our goal is to get seen by more people in 2026, and you, are like valued listeners, could truly help us with this. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week on another episode of The Other 99%. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Other 99%. We just want to say thank you. It truly means the world to us that you're here Lisa and I absolutely love creating these episodes for you, and we're so grateful to have you in our community. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to like, share with a friend, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. We drop fresh content every Tuesday. Got thoughts, questions, or ideas? Leave us a comment. Want to be a guest on the show? We would love to chat with you. Apply by clicking the link in the show notes. Thanks again for spending time with us today, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The Other 99%.